the secret code behind parking lot design. You think you are entering a convenience, a simple place to leave your car while you fetch milk or bread, but the historical record reveals a ritual of psychological transition. Imagine a deep-sea diver returning to the surface. They cannot simply rise, they must stop at specific depths to decompress. If they do not, their body can fail. In the world of retail architecture, you are that diver. The high-speed road you just left is a high-pressure environment. The store you are about to enter is another. Between them lies the buffer of boredom. In the 1950s, environmental psychologists gave this space a clinical name, the decompression zone. It is a sensory vacuum. Its job is to reset your brain. By forcing you to navigate a monotonous gray expanse at 5 miles per hour, the parking lot clears your mental cache. It strips away the alertness required for driving and replaces it with a state of passive compliance. This is not a byproduct of urban sprawl. It is a coded requirement. If you walk directly from a 50 miles per hour road into a store, your brain would be too guarded. You would be too awake to the manipulation inside. You need to be dulled. The parking lot is where your autonomy is slowly drained away, leaving you ready to be programmed by the layout of the labyrinth inside. To find the origin of this labyrinth, we have to look at a 1923 ordinance in Columbus, Ohio. This is the missing page of urban history, the moment the world changed and nobody noticed. Before the 1920s, the concept of a parking lot did not exist in law. If you had a car, it was your responsibility to find a place for it, much like a horse. But as the American city began to grow, a secret alliance formed between retail giants and local governments. They birthed a new legal entity, the parking minimum. This was the first protocol of displacement. It was a law that mandated a specific ratio. For every square foot of store space, you were legally required to provide 3 square feet of empty asphalt. Think about that math. We encoded into our laws that the car, a machine, was more valuable than the human space it served. But why? The lore suggests it was not about traffic. It was about retail gravity. Lobbyists knew that if you make it easy to park, you make it impossible to leave. By 1950, these minimums had spread like a virus. We began building cities not for people, but for the inanimate husks of vehicles. In many modern cities today, there are 8 parking spots for every 1 car. This created the concrete erasure. We tore down housing, parks, and community centers to satisfy the minimums. We traded our social architecture for a gray void. In the lore of the labyrinth, the parking lot is the scar tissue left behind after the city was carved up for profit. There are 2 primary runes in the parking lot code, and you interact with them every day without realizing they are altering your heart rate. These are the 90-degree stall and the 60-degree angled path. Architects who study the lore of friction know that 90-degree stalls are a form of aggressive architecture. They are difficult to enter and even harder to leave. They create conflict points. When you have to reverse into a narrow lane while other cars wait behind you, your cortisol levels spike. You feel watched. You feel judged. You feel a need to resolve the situation. This is the induction phase. A stressed shopper is a fast shopper. By the time you finally lock your car door and walk toward the entrance, your brain is seeking a safe zone. The brightly lit, climate-controlled store, with its soft music and familiar smells, is the only sanctuary provided. The parking lot creates the problem, and the store sells you the solution. Then, there is the angled stall. This is a flow ritual. It funnels you in one direction, stripping away your agency. You are not choosing a path. The geometry is choosing it for you. This is why you often find yourself driving in circles in a one-way maze, unable to find the exit. It is called the gravity well. The design ensures that even if you want to leave, you are forced to pass the storefront one more time, one more chance for a sign or a window display to pull you back in. You are being steered by lines of paint that were dry before you were born. but the labyrinth has eyes. This is where the lore meets the modern machine. In the elite tiers of retail management, the parking lot is no longer just concrete, it is a thermal data field. Using high-altitude thermal imaging, companies like Retail Next or Orbital Insight track what they call the heat bloom. They do not need to see your face to know your soul. They track the dwell time of your engine. They know exactly how long you circled the lot before finding a spot. Their data reveals a disturbing correlation. If a driver circles for more than 4 minutes, they enter a state of decision fatigue. When your brain is tired from navigating the maze, your willpower vanishes. This makes you 30% more likely to buy high-calorie reward items at the checkout. The parking lot is not just a place to park, it is a diagnostic tool. It measures how vulnerable you are before you even walk through the door. And then there is the automated license plate recognition, ALPR, protocol. Those cameras mounted on the light poles are not for security. The moment you enter the lot, your plate is scanned and cross-referenced with massive third-party consumer databases like Experian or Axiom. Before you have even turned off your ignition, the store's back-end system knows your estimated household income, your credit limit, and whether you have shopped at a competitor recently. The parking lot is the data harvest that happens before the money harvest. You are a walking data point, and the asphalt is the sensor. There is a final, darker layer to this code, one designed to repel the non-consumer. It is the lore of exclusion. Architects call it hostile architecture. Have you ever noticed the eerie blue lights in parking garage bathrooms or stairwells? They are not for aesthetics. They are tuned to a specific frequency that makes it nearly impossible for intravenous drug users to find a vein. It is a biological deterrent, hidden in plain sight. Have you noticed why the benches in these lots are slanted or divided by metal armrests? It is a coded message. You may sit, but you may not rest. You may pass through, but you may not stay. The parking lot is a purified zone. It is a private fortress masquerading as a public square. In the original Greek labyrinths, the maze was meant to keep the Minotaur in. In our modern labyrinth, the maze is meant to keep the undesirables out. If you are not spending money, you are a glitch in the system. And the system is designed to debug you. We have created vast expanses of our cities that are dead zones for anyone who is not a customer. Free parking is perhaps the greatest lie ever encoded into our culture. In the lore of economics, there is no such thing as free. Every free spot in a supermarket lot costs between $5,000 and $10,000 to pave and maintain, but the store is not paying for it, you are. Because of those 1923 parking minimums, every business is forced to pay a land tax for space they do not use. This cost is baked into the price of every gallon of milk, every box of cereal, and every pair of shoes you buy. It is a hidden subsidy for the car industry, paid for by the consumer. Even if you walk to the store, you are paying for the parking lot. You are paying for a gray void that makes the walk longer, hotter, and more dangerous. We are living in a world where the lore of the machine has mandated that the most valuable land in our society must be covered in heat-absorbing, non-porous waste. This is the tragedy of the gray. We have traded the beauty of our cities for the convenience of the stall. Why does an empty parking lot at night feel so wrong? The internet has a name for these places, liminal spaces. These are non-places. They are environments that exist only to get you from point A to point B. They have no history. They have no soul. They are designed to be invisible. When the cars are gone and the shoppers have vanished, the mask of the parking lot slips. You see the labyrinth for what it truly is, a vast, desolate monument to a system that does not care about you. It is a concrete scar on the earth waiting for the next cycle of consumption to begin. It feels eerie because it is an architecture designed for machines and units, not for human connection. When you stand in the middle of that empty expanse, you feel the weight of the lore. You realize that you are not the master of this space. You are just another element being moved through the maze. The parking lot is the waiting room of modern civilization. and the doctor is never coming. The next time you pull into that gray expanse, don't look for the open sign. Look at the ground. Observe the friction zones. Listen for the hum of the data harvesters. Feel the decompression as you walk toward the sliding doors. Alice had her looking glass. The Greeks had their minotaur. And we have the asphalt maze. The most disturbing part of the lore of the labyrinth is not that we are trapped inside it. It is that we built it ourselves, one parking spot at a time, until the entire world became a transition zone. You think you are leaving the lot when you drive away, but look around. The roads, the highways, the next destination. In the modern world, the labyrinth is the only thing left, and you are exactly where the designers want you to be. Welcome to the lore.